Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's Friday the 27th of July and we're extracting our way out of the warehouse into monsoon weather again. Been a theme of this week has been wet weather. Can put headlights on full actually. I'm trying to get out. I don't think he wants to stand out in the wet there. It's pouring. Rubbish. Gonna try and not run him over then. Wow. Say hello to Mr. Wet. Pouring with rain. So this week, what's this week been like? It's not been too bad. I did upload that little bit of a jaunt up to Carlisle again on Wednesday in the pouring rain. The motorway was horrible. Oh, it's not a good drive, but you know, we made it. I got there. I solved another problem, and I will be going back to Carlisle next week one day with some big parts that have been refabricated to install. So I'll look forward to that one as well. So other than that, it's been steady away this week. Today we have had a VAT inspection. We didn't know, we had a few weeks notice that the VAT man was coming, or two VAT men actually. So they had great fun sat upstairs in the warehouse with all the boxes of the last 4 years accounts for them to pool through and ensure we're doing all the correct things with all the VATs and the invoices and things. Obviously kind of complicated because we bring stuff in from Turkey and there's a lot of import VAT going back and forth and things, so there's a heck of a lot for them to look through. They came at 10, left at 3:30. General impression is that there was nothing too untoward. There's a few things that they think we should do differently, but it's 10 years since we had last had a VAT inspection, so it could be we were doing them right after the last one, but now they've decided it's different. So but who knows until, I mean, it's one of these things you're supposed to like go and find out if what you're doing is right, or you wait until they come and tell you that you're not doing it right and you should do it this way instead. Whatever, but you know, I think on the whole we're doing all okay with that sort of thing. So it's also this week I've been tinkering. I spent last weekend tinkering with the Android TV box. So you may recall from probably about 3 years ago, I got like an Android TV box. It actually came in via Bruce at iCarbons to sort of try out. I paid for it, but it was one of his friends were doing one of these Android things. So I picked that up and I played about with it for some time, and you know, you get Kodi on it, you can stream stuff and whatever else. I played about with that, and then thought you know, it was alright, but I kind of forgot about it. And then recently I'd noticed that it wasn't on. We'd done some carpeting in the bedroom, I put it all back together. It wasn't booting up, so I ended up having to get a new power lead for it. And then when I was trying to boot it then, although that made it light up, it just got stuck on the boot screen, so I wasn't sure what had gone wrong. So I thought, well, now's the time to try and update it anyway, because I'd never updated the firmware or tried putting a different firmware on and whatever else. So did a bit of investigating. Turns out it's a complete nightmare, Android generally. I mean, it's the same with phone. I did someone's Android phone and trying to find the right firmware, because all the firmware is different, and I think it was an LG G3 I was doing for someone, but it was a Beats version or something, and you had to find the exact specific software, hunting it down, and if you put the wrong one on because there's a different processor code or something, then it won't install it, and it's a complete nightmare, it really is. I don't know how anyone gets on with Android stuff, but So, or updating it anyway. I imagine most people just stick with it as it is and just hope it never goes wrong. I've got a bike behind us, so he's gonna stop when we get to the garage. So yeah, it was make sure he doesn't end up in the bottom. And maybe this little car will get out. And we're around here, pouring off here again. My favourite guy's in again. Oh, I've not done. I must do analysis stuff when I get parked up. Must. So I must not turn the engine off either. Right. Well, we'll turn the engine off now. So yes, we'll recap on Android TV shortly. God, it's pouring off that roof. And I need to fill some fuel up because of my big trip out. So I shall stop now and catch you again in a bit. Okay, back from fueling and parceling. Head round, admire my super white fog lights. There's not very many Cadgers with super white LED fog lights. I'll have you know. There's a good reason why. Because Renault don't fit LED white fog light lights. They fit horrible yellow tinted bulbs in the fog lights, which when you've got the white DRLs and white LED headlights, as this car has, having yellow lights in the fog lights is just, it did me in, to be honest. So I wasn't totally impressed by that, but they made it worse, Renault, with this thing of, oh, when you go round the bend with the headlights on, we're going to turn the fog light on the side that you're turning to illuminate the floor a bit for you. Which is marvellous, but of course, that just made it even worse, because when you got the headlights on, it gave a horrible yellow pool of light on the floor in the dark, so I was like, oh, I can't be having with that. So yes, I had to replace the bulbs, the stock bulbs, with some white LEDs, some Samsung LEDs in fact, and they're super white and super lovely now, so I'm much impressed with that. So any excuse now, you know, it's a bit difficult visual conditions, I'll put the fog lights on as well. Technically, you see, being white now as well, they're not really fog lights anymore, they are in fact DRLs, just like the headlight DRLs, just lower down, because it's a sort of a white light, so you can get away with it that way as well. Anyway, we digress somewhat from the Android TV malarkey. So basically, yes, I spent ages trying to update it, managed to find some firmware that would match, because like I say, you've got to get it exact match, you've got to find the right firmware for your device, and mine's an MX3 box, one of the earliest ones though, turns out. So found some firmware, went through the thing of installing it via an SD card, and that seemed to go alright, and it all booted up, and it was a fresh new version firmware, slightly different to what I'd done before, so that was quite good. Got it all logged into the Google Play Store, whatever else. And kind of was doing a bit on Kodi, although Kodi wasn't great. And then it came up with a white screen saying there was a system error and it needed rebooting to repair it. So did that, and it just went in a boot loop and wouldn't boot up again. So I thought, oh, great. And I couldn't even get it in the recovery mode to recover from the SD card, so I ended up having to try the other option, which is if you plug it into a computer and then you run some firmware. Only the only firmware I could find to do the actual flashing was in Chinese. Well, the program was all in Chinese. So I then had to find the firmware image file, work out randomly where the buttons were to select the firmware, and then what to press to make it actually do the flash. Eventually managed that, and it flashed it, and it all came back on again. I thought, great. Went through the same process of logging into Google Play Store, and it starts updating things and messing with odds and ends, and guess what, the white screen came back, and then it rebooted into boot loop. By which point I'm starting to think that the whole thing was just a waste of time. I should give up with it and throw it in the bin. So one last chance Sunday morning, because that was Saturday night I was messing about with it, it got to the end of Saturday night last night. go to sleep now. I'm fed up messing with this thing. So Sunday morning, I reflashed it again and thought, I know what I'll do different. I won't install the Google Play. Well, I'll log into Google Play and have it, because it seemed to be the updating from Google Play was what was whacking it out. So I didn't do that, and it remained stable, fortunately. So the Kodi bit of it, I was messing about with that. I find nowadays it's really hard to find any sources. They all seem to be dropping out on Kodi and whatever else. And of course, I couldn't only run a very old version of Kodi, so because the latest version needs a new version of Android. This one, the only version I could find to restore on it was KitKat 4.42, and of course we're well higher than that, so on normal, and most of the versions of Kodi won't install on it. So I was stuck with an older version of Kodi, and I was trying to find bits and pieces, and Kodi's not that great and the best anyway. So Sunday afternoon I took the lad to youngest to Soft Play, who was playing about there, and I was umming and ahhing about, and I thought, well, really, what the best thing for that Android box for me would be to play all the media off my Mac Mini, which just I have as like a media server. And at the moment, well, what I was doing is I just imported everything into iTunes and then did it through the Apple TV. But to be honest, that Apple TV doesn't present it very nice. So it's just a list of file names. You've got to scroll right down, and you can't search or anything. And I was kind of thinking, well, you know, maybe this could offer me a better way. I kind of looked into Plex before, but never really got round to it. So I thought, well, I was at the Soft and Play, I'll have a go with Plex, and then maybe if we can put Plex on that Android box, the Plex app, I'll be able to view all the media in a nice interface, because I'd seen a lot of Plex, you can log into Plex. In fact, you can log into lots of people's open Plex servers, because there seems to be some sniffers about that will sniff them out. So if you've got external access turned on for your Plex server, then you can go and munch through everyone's media, as it were. So just sneak through here, not making it easy for me. So I'd seen that, and it does present. The thing about Plex is it presents it wonderfully. It finds all your media, and it'll find all the like images to go with it and everything, and display it all lovely and nice. So I thought I'll give Plex a try. So while the young lad was soft playing, I was sat on my phone, logged in remotely to the Mac Mini, installing Plex on it, and I set it off and it ran itself. So then I looked up and I managed to find you could download like the install files for Plex rather than I didn't want to log into the Play Store and download it from the Play Store, because the Play Store seemed to be killing off the Android all the time. So I found on the phone and then sent it to my laptop for copying onto a USB to then put into the Android TV box to install the Plex software manually that way. So I got back, installed the software, and sure enough it all connected up and it worked wonderfully. So a super duper way of it sort of playing all my media and displaying it in a nice fashion so I can find it easily. And also it has the bonus that Plex, what I was having to do was all the time handbrake stuff into something that the iTunes and the Apple TV would read, whereas Plex will just read about anything that a movie comes in, whatever format it might be. So that's another bonus as well. So after what seemed like a ridiculous amount of twiddling and messing about with the box and rebooting and reinstalling and everything else, it finally worked and it proved useful, and we watched some stuff through it Sunday evening, me and the lad, and I was quite happy. So overall I'm happy with that. I'll probably use it a lot more. So Apple TV we use for YouTube, definitely, because that's good for YouTube and Netflix and things, but it was always just a bit of a dog for viewing content from the you know, shared movies and things from the Mac Mini. So I'm quite pleased at that. That I found a way to see it better, and you can, funny enough, it displays it better on the Mac Mini, so when the family downstairs want to look for stuff, they can now find it a lot easier instead of they were having to search in Finder to look up a movie name and stuff, which, though it kind of works, it's not ideal. So on the whole, pretty good, quite pleased with all that. So get in, and now we're going to do Mr. Nellis's things. So swing around. So that was all good. Apple Watch and the phone have been running fine, really. I can't believe, would you believe, Beta 2, which was such a horrible dog, unbelievable dog, Beta 2, and then we had to wait for like 3.5 weeks for Beta 3 for the Apple Watch OS. This is, and then after we get 3, which is working fine, a week later they release 4. It's like, you know, you torture us with 3.5 weeks of the worst operating system for the watch ever that you can't downgrade or anything, so you just got to suffer it. And then you bring out a release, and then a week later another update release. I'm sure Apple just do it to put people off running the betas that shouldn't be running the betas. It makes sense, wouldn't it, really? So the watch does work anyway now. It's much better, battery life's great. Everything's going good with the watch, and even loading messages is super quick now. Fantastic, isn't it? Let's have a look. Things to talk about on your vlog, says Mr. Richard Nellis. The awards night on Friday is lost this time. Or we lost at the awards night. That was because he was at awards last Friday. Yes, we said about the awards, but so he was at the awards. He lost. He won a medal for singing, and at the Feathers pub on Tuesday evening. The death of June Foray, aged 99, aka Sylvester and Tweety's gran. Didn't know that, Richard. That's interesting information. Have you ever seen the Pink Running Man, aka Mushcade? No, I haven't. Sorry. Me, as apparently I was about to have a dental appointment, but it's cancelled on Thursday morning as my dentist's on holiday. Well, that's just, you get an appointment with your dentist, you go for it, and oh, sorry, your dentist's on a holiday. If you book an appointment and then decide to go on holiday, the dentist has a fit and charges you for it. Works all right the other way, doesn't it? If they just fancy, oh, I'm going on holiday, sorry, you can't, you come along, but I'm not here, so. And he went past my workplace at 9:30 AM. I'm sure it was exciting going past. You're probably lucky a wagon wasn't outside, loading or unloading. And he's been to Lightcliff Tea Rooms for lunch on Thursday afternoon. I think he had a, did he have a tuna sandwich, I think, or something? I don't know. But yeah, I hope he had a nice coffee. Aladdin come into the Victoria Theatre in Halifax this Christmas. So that'll be quite good then, to watch Aladdin. Right, there you are. So it's soaking wet, like it was when I did that drive up to Carlisle. Nothing really else news-wise. I think we've covered a bit of tech this week. That's a surprise for me, isn't it? A bit about tech and Android instead of Apple, and media servers and Plex. Bit of variation. How's that, eh? Right, I'm off in. So have a good weekend and week next week, and I'll catch you in next week's coffee vlog. Okay, see ya.